Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first regular season edition of the Germain Toyota of Sarasota's Friday Football Fever. This week they count. We've got a great show for you, including a huge in-town rivalry and some interesting opening week games. But we start, as always, with our game of the week. Riverview hosting Palmetto, and we expected this one to be tight. Rams would work the ball well early on. Dominic Marino going to keep it. Go up the left, a little shake, a little bake, up the sidelines. He's brought out of bounds there. First down Rams. Marino, he can throw the ball too. Patient in the pocket and rifles one to Richie James over the middle for a first down and then some. He lost his hat there too. More from the Rams and Marino on what looks like a designed keeper. He's got some moves going outside left again. First down. And he's brought out at the 20-yard line, keeps the drive moving. Riverview caps the drive with an inside handoff to Karan Higdon. He's just a sophomore. He's got some talent, fancy moves, strong legs. Touchdown Riverview. Rams led early, but the Tigers clawed their way back in, and despite a QB injury to the starter, Chris Tutton, nice fake reverse touchdown toss to Shaquille Harris there. That young man can catch the football, and Palmetto went on to win this game. 24-13 is your final. SNN local news sports reporter Amber Stidham was at Riverview tonight, and she joins us now live. Amber, injuries and lead changes and a comeback win with backup players, huh? Not too shabby.
Yes, Adam, it was a very interesting game. It actually started off very slow. It almost seemed like more of a defensive battle than anything else. Riverview did get on the board first. I'm sure you saw from those highlights that quarterback Dominic Marino and his go-to guy, running back Karan Higdon, are quite the duo. Despite the 13 points, they obviously did lose. And Palmetto really did start off the game slow offensively, came back clicking on all cylinders in the second half. I'm sure you saw how many points they put on the board. Here's what both coaches had to say after the interview.
Starting quarterback, you lose your starting tailback. We were already down our second string tailback in Leon Gilbert. And for Corey, who's our captain, to come in and play tailback with not getting a lot of reps and the performance he put on, come on, man, how could you not be proud of these kids? I mean, I've been around the game a long time, and I've never seen a group of guys come together the way they did tonight.
Those guys, they made a lot of plays tonight, and they're young. And we're going to do some things better, and they're going to make more plays. And as this season goes on, you'll see that offense improve, and you'll see those guys continue to make more and more plays.
And Adam, it's also important to note that the quarterback for Palmetto, Spencer Adkins, did get injured in the game on his throwing shoulder. As of right now, we do not know the extent of the injury, but it's something to keep an eye on. Back to you, Adam.
Absolutely, could really affect Palmetto's chances later on this season. Thank you, Amber. We move on with the big Sarasota rivalry. Booker visiting Sarasota High School. We'll start in the first quarter. Rod Toulis opens up the scoring with a short burst up the left side. 7-0, Sarasota looking good early. Tornadoes really didn't have too many positive plays at all in this game. Corey Williams gets a nice run for a first down here, and then the Sailors with a great concentration play on defense. Alex Riddle passes to Ira Serrett. Watch this, ball's up in the air, it's a tip drill. Jerron Thomas catches it. Great play there. So ensuing Sailor possession, they waste no time. Hunter DeWitt flings one to Sean Bain. 33-yard touchdown strike. My goodness, this was awful for the Tornadoes. Great for the Sailors. Sarasota wins it huge. 51-6 is your final score here. Well, ODA went up to St. Pete Catholic to take on a tough Barons squad. Ryan Greeney's committed to Florida State, ran all over the Thunder for a handful of touchdowns. The Barons took such a huge lead. There was a running clock in the fourth. It ended early. St. Pete Catholic wins huge, 63-21. Another pretty good rivalry game had Lakewood Ranch hosting nearby Braden River. Just 5 miles separate these two schools. Eric Schapaker finds Eric Ross for a nice gain. First down, tight spiral there. Later in the drive, Schapaker, the tricky QB keeper, he runs outside. He's hunting for the end zone. He nearly finds it there, but it'd be spotted on the 5-yard line. Pirates punch it in with the Schapaker keeper through the pile there. It's a touchdown, 7-7. We got a tie ball game. Mustangs respond, some trickeration. Check out the option pitch / reverse from Chad Rex to Brandon Luckett. Look at him go. He's got the mane flowing underneath the helmet there, and he's got himself a first down. With time running down in the half, Stangs go to the air, Rex to Jack Cornoyer, first down there, but the drive would stall. Didn't matter, though. Mustangs went on to get the win. 21-7 is your final score. Okay, we will call a quick timeout, but don't worry, there's plenty more high school football coming your way. We'll take you down south to Charlotte County, plus back up to Manatee County, too, for Friday Football Fevers. Coming up.
You're watching Friday Football Fever on SNN Local News!
Welcome back to Friday Football Fever. Let's just jump right back into it. Northport making the trip to Punta Gorda, taking on Charlotte. First offensive possession for the Tarpons. Nice little reverse to Keontae Lattimore, who slices his way to pay dirt there for the touchdown. Looked easy. 7-0 Charlotte, chomp, chomp, chomp. But Northport was expected to hang in there in this one, and the Bobcats did. Roderick Spears with a nice run up the left for a first down, but the drive would stall there. Tarpons get the ball back. They go to the air. Christopher McGill to Lattimore. Nice catch, nice effort after the catch there. Wide open first down. Tarpons swim into the end zone with a Clyde Newton short scamper up the middle, 14 zip at that point, and Charlotte went on to get a nice win. 34-14 is the final here. Hey, Cardinal Mooney not only ran the ball well with Anthony Caiazzo tonight, but the Cougars threw for a couple of long TDs too. Worked pretty well. Cougars claw their way to a solid 31-13 road win over the LaBelle Cowboys. And how about Port Charlotte? Hitting the road down to Naples and just blanking Golden Gate. 27 zip. Good win for the Pirates there. Well, the #1 team in the nation was not in action tonight. That's because Manatee is going to get some national TV exposure this weekend. The Hurricanes host Miramar on ESPN2 Sunday afternoon. It's a huge game for the Canes if they want to win that mythical national title. Bayshore hosted Tampa Catholic. Calvin Williams is going to get the ball first for the Bruins and bruise his way outside and in. Look at him bang through there, and that's a touchdown. 7-0 Bayshore with the lead over Tampa Catholic. That is a little bit of a surprise. Derek Williams heading in for another Bayshore touchdown, but oh no, this ball is stripped. Crusaders recover, negating what could have been a huge play for Bayshore there. Ensuing possession, TJ Harrell. Long touchdown run here. He's gone. Point after was no good. 7-6 at that point. It didn't really matter. Tampa Catholic cruised to a 31-6 win. Southeast had to be stinging mad coming off a kickoff classic upset. Knowles went up to Largo, take it out on the Packers. Big night for Largo's Derek Doss. Interception there. He also had another one in the first half. Later, though, Jordan Brown. Nice catch and run. Breaking free for a first down there. Packers working it well. Jarvis Stewart gets the ball. He runs right and he finds the end zone. That is a touchdown. 7-0 Largo. Seminoles ball. Next possession, Miles Braxton Johnson. Touchdown pass to Ray Antonio as he's hit. Nice effort there. 2-point conversion fail. And listen to this. Packers end up winning on a final play of the game. Touchdown and 2-point conversion. 15-14. Tough loss for the Knolls. Lemon Bay made the trip to Naples to play Palmetto Ridge. How about LB, the Manta Ray in the house? Love him. First quarter, Lemon Bay's Dakota Rigel. This is 72-yard garden variety touchdown run on the misdirection there. Faked out the camera guy too. 7-0 Lemon Bay in control of this one. Still in the first. We're going to check out Tim Holloway getting in there in the backfield for the sack. Lemon Bay firing on all cylinders in this one. Second quarter, we move on. Manta's Lucas Sparks, 51 yards. He breaks free. It's a touchdown run, 14-0, and the Mantas go on to get a quality road win. How about this? 34-14. All right, that's it for the highlights. But when we continue, we will take a look at some of the games with this guy, Herald-Tribune columnist Doug Fernandez. Stick around.
You're watching Friday Football Fever on SNN Local News 6.
All right, welcome back to the Fever. We bring in Herald-Tribune columnist and overall football encyclopedia, Doug Fernandez from the Herald-Tribune.
Don't believe this guy.
Doug and I both actually went to the Booker at Sarasota game, and that was just really, really ugly.
You know, I mean, Dick Vitale, he presented the new jerseys to the Booker team earlier today at the Broken Egg. Now they need to sort of replace the guys wearing the jerseys. I know it's a cheap shot, but 51-6 opening night loss to Sarasota. Pretty much a brutal performance by Booker. Performance like this, if you're Sarasota coach Ed Voles, you really don't know how well your team actually plays because you were assisted so much by Booker penalties and mistakes in this.
Someone was asking me, was it Booker that bad or was it Sarasota that good? And I said I kind of thought it was a combo of both from what I saw.
Like, for instance, you were there at the beginning. First two plays on Sarasota's first drive, 2 offsides calls. Shortens the field for Sarasota, leads to a touchdown, 60 yards and penalties in the first quarter for Booker.
Yeah, just really tough. And this is not when you're a brand new head coach with basically a month as the head coach, or even less. That's not what you want to see out of Booker.
I talked to Johnny Jones after the game, and I said, where do you go from here? He says, back to the drawing board. You know, it's bad to say, but when your team is lining up off sides and doing all these things, that's really a discipline/coaching thing that really has to be addressed in practice.
You know, I'm not sure if you saw this, but this is something I really want to mention. ODA, a once proud franchise who has been to the playoffs multiple times, went up to St. Pete Catholic. This game was a running clock at the end of the third quarter, I'm told, and it didn't even get to regulation. ODA ends up losing because they just basically quit. This is what I'm told. I hope we're getting the right information. This game ended before regulation even finished. They were losing by 40 points. Total blowout there. 63-21 is the final.
And this game was a running clock in the fourth quarter. A lot of people don't know, when do you have a running clock? In the third quarter, the opposing coach has to agree to it.
Yeah.
And I guess Johnny Jones said, no, I want my guys to go out there and play the full clock.
Right.
Fourth quarter, it's a mandatory running clock.
Well, Brett Timmons says he wants it also. He just stops the game. Have you ever heard of something like just basically throwing in the towel?
I never heard about that. I'll be writing a column for the Web on Sunday, so I'll be calling him up to find out the story that you can't get really on a tight Friday night like this.
Yeah, really, really interesting. So check out HT Preps or Herald-Tribune.com for that. How about Riverview hosting Palmetto? Rams get out to a really good start in this one. Palmetto has some injury problems, loses their starting quarterback, and Palmetto comes back with their second string guy and ends up winning this ball game, a gritty win for head coach Dave Marino.
You know, if you look at last year's team, what Riverview had last year and what Palmetto had with the quarterback Miller, this game would have been a blowout maybe last year. I think Palmetto's come back to the pack a little bit, and I think Riverview under Todd Johnson is really making strides. I hope they make strides in their second year under him.
Charlotte gets a pretty solid win tonight. Charlotte taking on Northport, and this one was at home. You would expect Charlotte to win pretty easily, but Northport actually made kind of a game of it. I think a lot of people think that Northport is kind of an up-and-coming team, and Port Charlotte down south a little bit. Charlotte ends up getting the win. I don't know what to make of the Tarpon team. You know, they weren't very good in their kickoff classic. I guess they weren't very dominant tonight. They kind of let Northport stick around. What do you make of them this year?
I don't know. I love Binky Waldrop because he's been there, and he's the one coach who will give you a square shoot when you're asking him a question afterwards. He'll tell you, my team played very, very poorly. I expect Binky to get that team going. Again, opening week, you don't really know what your teams have this early in the season.
Hard to know. Manatee, interesting here, Doug. They're going to play on national TV, as usual. Every year they seem to have a big TV game. It's going to be Sunday on ESPN2 against another really good team in Miramar. And what do you expect out of this? And are these TV games on a day other than Friday night good for a team like Manatee?
I think it's good for exposure for Manatee, for people who haven't seen Manatee before, to see them. You know, Manatee has done this a couple of years in a row. They stack the schedule early with great opponents, and by the time they get into the district schedule, their state schedule, these games are cake for them. And I think Joe Canaan has found the formula to the Cane's success here.
Well, I mean, it clearly worked last year. They won the state title, but when I went up there and talked to those guys before the season began, the guys, I mean, of course they want to repeat, but they're talking about the national championship. They want to finish the year ranked #1 in the nation.
And to do that, you have to beat your opponents you're supposed to beat by the requisite margin. If you squeak by one of these teams you should be beating by 30 or 40 points, that ranking has a tendency to tumble a little bit.
Another interesting thing I saw tonight, Cardinal Mooney, we know they're going to rely on Anthony Caiazzo a lot. He runs like 400 yards a game every time. Kid is a beast. They win 31-13 at LaBelle on the road, and they threw for a couple of touchdowns. And this isn't Sean McAdams. because he's now playing for the Baltimore Orioles minor league organization. So maybe they're going to mix it up a little bit there. Josh Smithers.
I mean, Caiazzo, they give him the ball 30, 35 times a game. If they can find somebody to throw the ball, somebody to catch the ball, pitch and catch, that team should be maybe a force to be reckoned with in that district.
Could be a playoff team. Doug, thank you very much. As usual, pretty good. And that'll wrap things up for this week's edition of Friday Football Fever. Check out htpreps.com or the Herald-Tribune for some more coverage of these games. There's more local news and weather just ahead. Stay with us.